very sunny Sunday morning as well. It's beautiful. So this one is kind of in honor of the full moon. We've got a full moon on Wednesday, the first one of September, harvest moon. It's hardly a surprise, is it? So the Native Americans called each moon after kind of what was going on in nature at that time. And this was harvest time, so it's the harvest moon on Wednesday. But I was also thinking about this time of year. And a friend of mine summed up this time of year perfectly. She called it yawny morning type of weather, yawny morning weather. You know, when it's starting to get a little bit darker. And I call it sortum. It's sort of summer and sort of autumn. You're kind of not quite there yet. You're on the cusp of transitioning in between seasons. And I always think this time of year is, you know, kind of we're beginning to slow down a little bit. They say the energy of summer is quite energetic, quite high, and the energy of autumn and winter is much slower. You can kind of feel that a little bit. You're maybe less inclined to jump out of bed first thing in the morning. So we'll be doing a full moon inspired, sortum inspired class. So it's a slow flow grounding practice that we do when it's a full moon. Yeah, just some nice stretches, and we will come up to stand and we'll do a version of a lunar salute, which is designed to kind of slow the breath down and slow us down rather than fire us up, which is what sun salutes are designed to do. So that's what we're going to do today. A sortum practice. So we're going to start lying down today, guys. Make your way down. Make sure you've got some space around you because we'll be extending arms and legs. So just make sure you've got a little bit of space behind you and space in front of you. So middle of the mat, make sure you're not going to knock anything over. Oh, ease yourself down. And if you want to, give your knees a little bit of a squeeze to start with, just easing tension at the back if you've felt it this week. Doing a lot of sitting down, or if you're back at work, standing in front of children in the classroom, you might just want to have a little roll around on your back, maybe circle your knees a few times. And then let's just bring the feet down to the floor, walking them a little bit wider apart, excuse me, a little bit wider apart, so you can knock your knees in together there. And the hands might be resting down alongside you with your palms up towards the ceiling. You might want to have a little wiggle there, tucking your shoulder blades down the back, opening up through the chest, or if you're in need of that little bit of extra grounding, a hand resting on your lower belly, a hand resting on your chest can sometimes help you feel a little bit more grounded. I'm going to come up to seated just in case anyone joins us, but we're going to start just lying down. Lovely, closing the eyes. So a practice designed to help really ground us at this time when the energy of the full moon threatens to kind of come up and can make some of us feel a little bit flighty, a little bit giddy. Sometimes we don't sleep so well during this period. So let's take a moment to feel really connected to the earth beneath you, the mat beneath you. You might want to lift your toes, give them a little bit of wiggle. And then as you plant your feet back down, really get the sense of stretching out through the feet. Really feel a connection through the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot. And then just bring your awareness now to that back seam of the body. All of those points of contact you have with the floor beneath you, starting from the very middle, the back of your head. Noticing all those little delicate arches around the back of the neck, space between the floor and your neck before you come down to the area of your upper back between the shoulder blades, and try and balance that weight out between the right and the left. So you feel really nice and balanced across your upper back. And then as you travel down your back body, you might again just notice a bit of a lumbar curve through your spine. So the spine is almost a natural S shape. So we're never trying to flatten out those natural curves of our spine. So it's around the lower back and around the tops of your buttocks. You'll probably notice the body again, just resting on the floor there. And again, trying to find that sense of balance between the left and the right side. So you just continue just to connect with your breath before we start our practice. Almost visualize with each exhale that you can allow the back body to sink a little bit more deeply into the floor beneath you. So those of you just joining us, we're just lying down on our backs, feet on the floor, hands resting either on your chest or your belly, or just alongside you. Ready for a grounding practice. So each exhale, you allow the body just to relinquish whatever hold of tension the week might have brought with it. And all of those points of contact we've just gone through, back of the head, upper back, tops of the buttocks, soles of the feet. You allow those parts of the body just to sink a little deeper. Surrender to the support of the floor beneath you. It's a really grounding practice for us today. And those of you with your hands resting on your chest and your lower belly, it's that lower hand we're trying to guide the breath into. Those of us with the arms just alongside you, you can just get that sense of the belly rising and falling. Trying to draw the breath down from our chest. Nothing wrong with that, but it tends to be an indication sometimes that we're a little bit anxious, a little bit stressed. Dropping into that full yogic, deep breathing, if that's comfortable for you today. And then when you're ready, if you've got your hands resting on chest and belly, just bring the arms down alongside you. We won't have the arms down alongside us. Turning the palms down, you can keep the feet on the floor and the knees knocked together so the feet might be wide apart, that's fine. We're going to work just across the upper body to begin with, connecting the breath and the movement. I'm going to reach the right arm all the way up and back. The back of the hand might touch the floor behind you. And at the same time, just roll your head so your chin drops down towards left shoulder. So you're kind of looking down towards your left shoulder there. And get the sense of almost trying to reach your fingertips apart there. So the left hand almost trying to reach down as the right arm reaches back, just getting a little stretch in the neck. And then we bring that arm, that right arm, all the way back down alongside you and the head back to center. And then we'll change sides. As you reach the left arm back, you roll your chin down towards the right shoulder. And again, that sense of stretching the arms apart so you get a nice lateral stretch across the chest. And then head to center. And we lower that left arm. So we're going to add the breath now, starting with the right arm. As you inhale, right arm comes all the way back. Chin drops down to left shoulder. We'll stretch across the chest. And as you exhale, roll the head back to center as you bring the arm all the way back down. Ready to go again. So as you inhale, left arm back. Chin drops to right shoulder again, that sense of broadening the chest as you stretch the arms apart. And exhale, lower the arm, head to center. So just work with the breath now. So as you take one arm back, the chin rolls towards the opposite shoulder if that's comfortable. A little bit of reaching the hands that's on the floor alongside you down towards your heel as you reach back through the fingertips of that arm that's extended back behind your head. And coming back. Now I'm going to do one more with my right arm reaching back. Dropping gaze towards left shoulder. Take a little turn through the head. And come back to center on an exhale. And then once more with the left arm. So once you finish, might be working faster or slower, but we'll all end bringing that left arm all the way back down alongside us. With the palms down, we'll zigzag the feet now. So bring your feet hip width apart. So just toe heel your feet in, hip width apart. I'm going to add a little bit to that. So it's a little bit of mind connection as well, because you're going to work laterally now. So as you reach your right arm back, extend the left leg up towards the ceiling, flexing the foot. Now you might want to keep the gaze up towards the ceiling, or again, roll your gaze towards your left shoulder. So chin, once more dropping down to opposite shoulder, to the arm that's reaching back. And then we'll bring the foot to the floor. The arm comes back down and the head comes back to center. Oh, it's like rubbing your tummy and patting your head, isn't it? Other arm, so left arm comes back. Right leg extends, chin drops down to right shoulder. Flexing foot, reaching back through the arm. Lovely. And then we come back to center, sole of foot to floor, arm comes down, head to center. Right, you ready with the breath? So it's going to be right arm, left leg. Inhaling, right arm, left leg extends. Maybe chin drops down to left shoulder, flex the foot. And as you exhale, come all the way back. Arm and leg lowering back to the floor, gaze to center. Other side, so opposite arm and leg, left arm, right leg, chin dropping down to right shoulder. It's great for the brain as well, hey? All the way back. Lovely. So as we continue to do this, you might just want to keep the head still if that's just an added complication. But we're trying to flex that foot so there's an energy through the limbs that are moving. Reaching the arm back, stretching that leg up towards the ceiling. And then coming all the way back down to the earth. So I'm going to do one more with my right arm, left leg. Maybe chin dropping down towards left shoulder. Lovely. Coming all the way back. And last time, moving left arm, right leg. Beautiful. Nice stretch up, reaching back. And then we'll come all the way back through center. Brilliant. And just giving your right knee a hug now, just the right knee coming in towards the chest, softening the shoulders, giving that knee a little squeeze, getting a little stretch around the lower back. So the knee might be rowing out slightly on the diagonal rather than directly to your chest, depends on how your hips feel today. And then we'll hold on around the back of the leg, hands quite low towards your bottom initially as we take that leg all the way up towards the ceiling. Lovely. Let's just turn that right foot a few times each way. Little circles through the ankle and the other way. It's really funny as we head towards this colder weather, you might hear more clicks and crunches through those joints. And then we'll flex the foot. We're going to come into a little moving sequence now. So we'll lower the right leg and reach both arms all the way back behind you so the heel hovers and maybe the arms touch the floor above the head. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, hug the right knee to your chest, and you can always lift head and shoulders, bringing nose to knee. Inhaling, extending the arms, reaching out through the leg, head and shoulders come to the floor. Exhale, squeezing knee to chest and rounding up. If you don't want to do that rounding up, you can always keep the head on the floor, ready to move with the breath. So inhale, we expand, and exhale, we come into that little ball. Lovely. We're going to do one more, like this. And then we're going to add on if you wish. So inhale, have a little look if you don't know. Inhale, we're going to reach all the way back. This time as you exhale, knee to chest, but instead of holding the knee, you reach the arms up on the diagonal. And so you're reaching towards the wall in front of you. Lovely. And then inhale, you extend the arms back, extend the leg. Exhale, knee to chest, lift head and shoulders and reach up on the diagonal. Lovely. So the arms are reaching on either side of that knee. Once more, inhale. Or you can hug the knee. Let's wake up through the core. Ooh, lovely. Inhale, reach the arms back, extend the leg. And this time we'll hug knee to chest, maybe lift nose to knee. And then lower the head and shoulders. Bring that knee down towards the chest. And take the leg all the way up towards the ceiling once more. Hands around the back of the thigh, flexed foot, strong energy up through the heel. You can stay there, just enjoying that stretch, opening up through the back of the leg, or slide the hands up towards your calf, avoiding the back of the knee. So again, head and shoulders lift up. And you can always extend that left leg out now, so the heel hovers off the floor. Elbows tucked in. So we're going to change legs. So head and shoulders stay lifted, or you can bring them down to the floor. Let's lower the right leg and catch the left. So like a pair of scissors, lovely. For 10, and change. 9, and 8. Keep breathing. And 7, beautiful. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Lower the head and shoulders. Bring both knees in towards the chest and have a little roll of the head side to side. Just release tension from the neck. Ah, that's woken up the core this morning, hasn't it? And then we'll bring both hands to left knee and we'll bring right foot to the floor. We've got 2 legs now, so we're going to do that on the other side. So again, that knee might be coming directly to your chest. It might have rolled open very slightly, just opening up into the hip. Mine always wants to come out on the diagonal a bit. And then we'll bring the knee back to center if it's angled more out towards the armpit. Holding on around the back of the leg, so quite low towards the bottom. It supports the hamstring as you take that leg up for that initial stretch. So your knee might be bent. And we just turn the ankle a few times each way. Trying to move the ankle rather than the knee joint. The knee sometimes wants to do that movement. So see if you can really isolate that movement into the ankle. Lovely. And then we'll flex the foot, ready for that little moving sequence. So this time, left leg lowers, arms reach all the way back. Take a nice inhale, and then exhale, knee to chest, and maybe lift head and shoulders, nose to knee. When you're ready to inhale, extend the arms, kick out strong through the heel. And exhale, giving that knee a little squeeze. So you're just bringing that knee in towards your nose, holding on around the knee, and knowing that you can stay there, drawing that knee in, or coming with me for that slightly harder version. So inhale and extend. And as you exhale, knee to chest, and you reach the arms up on the diagonal, lovely. And then inhale, so you might find that working the core, and also your hip flexor reaching up. Just once more. Beautiful. That'll get us woken up. Whoop. Inhale, extend. And this time as you exhale, we'll hug the knee to the chest, maybe lifting head and shoulders. And then lower the head, lower the shoulders, but we keep the knee to the chest. Again, holding on around the back of the leg, coming into that deeper hamstring stretch now. We've worn that leg up, stretching the leg up. You can stay there, or again, as the hands slide up the leg, we again lift head and shoulders, and you might choose to extend the opposite leg, only if that doesn't pull on the back. Lovely. Ready for those little leg changes again, because they're just so much fun. So release the left and catch the right. 10. And change. 9. Keep lifted up. 8. Woo! 7. So if you keep lifted up, keep breathing. 6. Got to keep counting. 5. 4, on this fun, 3, 2, and 1. Ah, knees to chest, head and shoulders come down, have a little roll of the head side to side. Ah, that's got us going on a Sunday, hasn't it? So cross the ankles, widen the knees, and just have a little stir round with the legs, taking the knees round in one direction. And then as you change the hook of your ankle, you just change the direction of your knees, just for a little massage out through the tops of the buttocks. And then we're going to come up and over onto seated. So you can uncross your legs, just roll to one side, or keep the ankles hooked. Hold on behind the knees and have a little roll up and down. A couple of times, if there's space, to join me in a comfortable seated position. Now I'm going to sit cross-legged with right shin in front of left. But if that doesn't work for you for whatever reason today, just stretch the legs out in front of you. No problem at all. Lovely. You can always pop a little cushion or a blanket underneath your bottom. Help you sit up nice and tall. Come into a little side stretch. So right hand comes to the floor. Left arm reaches up as you inhale. Let's come into that lovely side stretch as you exhale. Palm down, lifting your ear towards your upper arm. And just keep really grounded through your sit bones there. A little bit of movement here. So this top arm, this left arm, I'm going to circle it forwards. And now stretch across the upper back and then plant the left hand, right arm sweeps all the way up and over into that side stretch. Lovely. So we're going to roll the chest up and drop down into that right sit bone. And then ready to go again. This top arm, this right arm, this time circles all the way forwards. Planting the hands so the left arm can come all the way up and over, turning the chest, maybe rolling the gaze up. Let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, sweep that arm forwards. And then inhale, right arm sweeps all the way up, maybe turning the gaze up. And exhale, lovely. Inhaling, left arm sweeps up, thumb reaching back. Lovely. Let's do one more. Inhaling, right arm up. Lovely. Let's come all the way back through center and reach both arms up towards the ceiling. Grow really tall, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Then as you bring the hands down, we're going to come into a zigzag leg. So keeping that right shin in front. It's going to bring the left shin so it's parallel to the long edge of your mat probably, if you're sitting towards the short end of your mat. If that doesn't work for you, keep the legs out in front of you. It really doesn't matter. Now, I've noticed as I zigzag my legs, I want to kind of pop up from that left sit bone. So try and sit down into that left sit bone. And we'll take a little twist to the right. So that left hand coming across the body, pressing down on the thigh or the knee. So remember, you can do this with the legs outstretched. And just bring that left arm to your outer thigh. Lovely. So whatever position the legs are, we're trying to keep grounded through both sit bones. Lovely, sitting up nice and tall. And then if you're comfortable in the neck, bring your gaze back to center and then look over your left shoulder. So the body's stayed as it was, we're just bringing that movement up into the neck, lovely. And we're going to take the body round to the left, so the direction that you're looking in. This time the right hand comes across the body and the left fingertips come behind you. Sitting up nice and tall, grounding down through the sit bones. And now bringing the gaze forwards, looking over right shoulder. We come back over to the right. The right hand is just down behind you. You can stay there or begin to reach that left arm up on the diagonal and maybe push into that right hand and lift the hips up. So gazing towards that right hand, reaching the left arm all the way up and over, and squeeze the bottom. Lovely. And then we'll drop the hips and straighten out that left leg so it's on the diagonal, bringing your right heel in towards your groin. Now you might just want to pick up your hips, turn your body slightly over that extended leg. Reach both arms up as you inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to extend the body forwards over that left leg so the hands fall wherever is comfortable. Lovely. So some of you, might have your hands quite close towards you and the chest quite a way away from that extended leg. Others might be folding down a little further forwards. And if you want even more, that right hand comes to the outside of the left foot towards the little toe. And you're using that hand to gently draw you down. So by using the opposite arm, we're just trying to bring the body a little squarer over that extended leg. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly we'll release. Let's bring the hands down behind you so you can stretch the legs out, give them a little bit of a shake. And then we'll zigzag the opposite way. So this time left shin in front and right shin is tucked in behind you there. And I find that this side is harder to sit down in my sit bones. So again, if you're really wibbly wobbly, you can always pop a little cushion or something underneath your bottom so you feel more level across your sit bones. So let's take a little twist to the left. So the right hand comes across, left hand tucks in just behind the hip. So we're turning the chest, turning the gaze. Some of you might even be looking over that back shoulder, but try and avoid lifting up through that right sit bone. Plug it down. Feel really grounded there. And then we'll bring the gaze back to center. So body stays where it is. We just turn the gaze over that right shoulder. Feel like the little mermaid. And that's where we're going. So we're coming over to the right with that twist. Left hand comes across the body this time. Right hand comes behind you. Lovely. Sitting up nice and tall. Beautiful. Last time, bring the gaze back through center. Looking over left shoulder, coming back over to the left. So left hand is behind you. We've got the option to stay there or reach that right arm up and down on the diagonal. You can stay there or lift the hips, taking the gaze towards that left hand. So you're taking that top arm, arcing it back behind you. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly lower the hips. Shift your weight into that left buttock so you can extend the right leg out now. So it's on a diagonal, heel in towards your groin. I'm just going to gently kind of lift the hips, draw that right hip back a little bit so I'm squarer over that extended leg. Inhale as you reach the arms up. And as you exhale and extend, extend, extend forwards and down, let the arms forward. So they might be alongside your thighs, they might be by your shins. Kind of get yourself settled there. Try to relax that other knee towards the floor there. And again, this time if you want more, your left hand comes to the outside edge of right foot and you use that hand to gently draw your body down a little further if that's comfortable. If that's comfortable. Just noticed an enormous bruise on my elbow. Goodness knows how I got that. Honestly. All the way up. I'm in danger to myself. Bring the hands down. We're going to swish both legs out and come round onto all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Again, just making sure you're in the middle of the mat so you've got space in front of you and space behind you. Spread your hands nice and wide. Again, feel really grounded through the hands and just ripple the gaze forward so you're in a nice tabletop position. If your shoulders feel tight or upper back's tight, just take your hands a hair's breadth wider apart than your shoulders there. Lovely. So let's come into that lovely cat-cow, but we're going to add some movement. So as you inhale, let's lift the tailbone, dip the belly, chest draws forwards. And as you exhale, round up into that angry cat and bring your bottom back towards your heels into that child pose. As you inhale, we come back onto all fours. Imagine drawing the chest forwards between the arms. And then exhale, rounding back, hips towards heels. Lovely. So as you just continue, just for a few breaths of this really soothing, rhythmical movement, marrying movement and breath. Again, just helping calm any busy minds. Just getting into the front and the back seams of the body. So this time we'll come forwards and up on an inhale, a little arching of the back. And exhale, we'll all pause in that child pose. So you might want to just widen your knees a little bit for comfort's sake. And see if you can just edge your arms forwards a little further, whilst drawing your hips back towards your heels. So you feel a lovely sense of stretch from your fingertip to your armpit and from your armpit to your hips. Nice and long. Now I'm up on my finger pads, so just so I can press my fingers forwards and down, enjoying that sense of stretch. So if you're doing that, just take a breath or so more there in that lovely extended child pose before you bring the palms down to the floor. And on an inhale, come back onto all fours. But this time as you exhale, we're going to lower ourselves down, stretching hips to hands all the way down to the floor. Push into your hands as you peel the chest all the way up, back onto fours. And exhale back into that child pose. So this time as you inhale onto fours, maybe try coming up with a rounded back. And as you exhale, roll the body down, thighs, belly and chest, elbows, like little grasshopper legs tucked in behind you. Inhale, push the floor away back onto fours. And again, with a rounded back, we sink back into that child pose. Let's do once more. All the way up as you inhale, lengthening the front body very tenderly down as you exhale. Elbows tucked in nice and tight as you inhale up. And exhale down. So this next time, I'm going to come up onto fours as you inhale and come to lie down as you exhale. Lovely, flattening your feet. And we're going to bring the arms out so your elbows are level with your shoulders, palms and forearms to the floor. So you almost look like the tines of a fork. So just making sure you've got a 90-degree bend at your elbow. If you're a little bit confused, you're making that kind of shape on the floor. So it's almost like you're cactusing your arms there. Okay, shoulders away from ears, a little bit for the upper back. Now feel really grounded through the lower body. Keeping the forearms down, you're going to lift the chest and just take your gaze towards your right hand. And then lower the chest, lower the gaze. And then gently pressing into your forearms, you lift the chest and look towards your left hand. And then slowly lower and come back to center. So inhaling, push down through the forearms and look to the right. Exhale as you come to center. Press down in the arms, feel grounded through the hips as you look to the left. And lower. So you might just want to stay here. Or this time as you inhale and look to the right. Lifting from the shoulder, we lift that right arm so nothing changes. You just lift from the shoulder. And exhale to lower. So inhale, so you're shifting the weight into that right arm as you lift the left. And exhale to lower. Do one more each way. So try and minimize any rolling across the front of the hips. So we're really trying to get into the upper back. So you lift from the shoulder, the arm moves as one unit, nothing changes, lovely. And lowering that left arm. Now you can stay there with the arms bent, or if the back feels okay, you can extend the arms out. You're almost making like a crucifix position, arms level with the shoulders, palms down. This time as you inhale, you lift the chest, look to the right, and again, lifting that right arm, you're like an aeroplane banking, lifting the right arm up. Exhale as you lower, head to center. Looking to the left, lifting left arm so the arm's level with the shoulder. Hips stay grounded. See if we can do just once more each way. So you're lifting that right arm. Remember the elbow might be bent. Trying to minimize again that sense of movement through the front of the pelvis is quite a tricky one to do. And release. Beautiful. Hands alongside the shoulders this time. Push up onto all fours and just round your back. Just stretch out all of those muscles we've used. You might even want to take your hands a little wider apart so you can really find some space between your shoulder blades there. Lovely. And then just taking your hands forwards, just maybe half a handspan, forwards of your shoulders, tucking your toes under. Preparing for downward dog, so if you want to stay on all fours, feel free to stay on all fours and just continue arching and rounding the back. Or lifting the hips all the way up and back into that downward dog. Give the head a little shake as you start just to bring some movement. So keep it nice and spacious, a little bit of wiggling through the hips from side to side as you bend one knee and then the other. You might even start to add a little twist, so you're just turning the gaze from armpit to armpit as you press the heel down. And then we'll find some stillness in that downward dog now. So if you're on all fours, feel free to stay on all fours. So find a position for the gaze that's comfortable. It might be between your thumbs. It might be directly down to the floor beneath you or back between your heels. Really feel grounded through all 4 points of contact now. Spreading the hands, just transferring the weight from the heel of the hand into your knuckles. And stretching the heels back and away from the balls of the feet. Doesn't matter whether the heels don't touch the floor. Lovely. And slowly, slowly ripple the gaze forwards if you've not done so already. And start to walk forwards, foot and then the other foot, until you come into a deep forward fold, your feet just behind your wrists. Generously bend your knees. You can cradle opposite elbows if you wish. Almost draw a half moon shape as you sway from side to side, taking that little arc across your feet. If you don't like having your head lower than your heart, just bring your hands above your knees and come up more into a flat back position. More support for the low back and for blood pressure if you're feeling a little bit giddy today. If you're holding your elbows, let's let go of the elbows so the arms can dangle. And keeping the chin tucked in towards your chest, slowly, slowly start to roll the spine up. Vertebrae by vertebrae, take your time. Lovely. And when you get there, just making sure again you've got space behind you. I'm going to start mirroring it for you now. So making sure you've got space behind you. Just bring one hand and then the other onto your chest there. So I'm going to adjust the camera slightly. So one hand and then the other, right in the center of your chest, your yogic heart, as opposed to your physical heart. You might just want to close the eyes there for a moment, dropping the weight and the awareness into your feet. And just finding again that even distribution of weight between the left and the right, and the front and the back of each foot. We don't pay much attention to our feet, and yet so many hip and knee issues emanate from our hips. So when you bring your awareness to them, you might find those kind of subtle imbalances that we all have that can really affect and transfer further up the body. So a really good exercise in awareness there. Lovely. So keeping a little bend in the knees or softness in your knees. That right arm, we're going to reach all the way up. And then reaching over to the left, pushing the hips to the right, we come into a little half moon stretch. Just check that both hips are still pointing forwards. You've not rolled that right hip forwards, draw it back slightly. Reach that right arm all the way up, and then bring the hand back to the heart. Other side, so left arm lifts as you inhale this time. And as you exhale, let's take it over to the right, just pushing the hips over to the left. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, hand to heart. One more, right arm lifts. Inhale. That half moon stretch as you exhale, pushing the hips gently to the right. Inhale, reaching up. And as you exhale, both hands to heart. Left side, inhale. And exhale over into that half moon stretch. Soften all your hard edges there. Inhale up and exhale. Now we can either repeat that or adding on. If you feel imbalanced in any way today, wibbly wobbly, just keep the feet hip width apart. Or step right foot behind left foot. So you might just be on the ball of the foot. It's like you're going to take a little curtsy there. So you're on the ball of that right foot. Lovely. So right arm lifts again. Inhale. And as you exhale into that half moon stretch, just see if you can just gently push the hips a little further over to the right. So you might find a deepening stretch there. Lovely. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, hands to heart and step the feet hip width apart. So if that felt wibbly wobbly, keep the feet where they are. Or left foot comes in behind the right. Tuck it in, you're on the ball of the foot like you're going to do a little curtsy. Lovely. Left arm lifts. Inhale. So as we take that half moon stretch, you might again just find you can bow that hip over to the side a little more. Inhale, reaching up. And as you exhale, both hands to the heart and feet hip width. Lovely. But let's do our little lunar salute. So we'll bring the hands to the heart this time and begin to bend the knees, shifting the weight back into your heels. So we're in a little chair pose, the chest is lifted. Try not to overdo that arch in the back. So if you really feel that you're arching the back and it's putting strain on the back, just very gently either lift up a little higher and draw the hips forwards. So you might just want to stay here with the hands at the heart. You might take them forward so they're level with your shoulders. Or, harder still, upper arms alongside your ears. Keep the chest nice and open. Lovely. So that right arm, I'm going to slice all the way across the body, coming to your left outer thigh or knee. You're going to take a little peek underneath that left armpit, little twist, and then come all the way back into that chair pose. And then the left arm slices across the body, so keep both knees forwards as you peek underneath that right armpit. Lovely. Coming back to that chair pose. And we now hinge forwards from the hips, tipping down into that forward fold, crown of the head to the floor. Slide the hands up the legs, shins or thighs, coming to that lovely flat back. Pause there. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Draw up through your midsection, navel to spine. And then bend the knees, plant the hands. Right leg steps back, bringing the knee down. Toes stay tucked. And if you can, bring your palms together as you arrow the arms up into that lovely crescent lunge. Arms reach up. And then bring the hands down. Frame that front foot, pick up the back knee, and we'll step back into plank. Remember, you can have your knees lowered. And just making sure that your shoulders are above your wrists. Press down through the hands, maybe a little rounding through the upper back. Drop down onto knees, and chest comes down between the arms. Again, elbows like grasshopper legs, pointing to the wall behind you. Flatten your feet, press into your hands, come up into a lovely low cobra, baby cobra. And then slowly lower the chest down. Lovely. Tuck the toes as you push back onto all fours. And then lift the hips into that downward dog. I always need to walk my feet in a step or two from that plank pose. Lovely height through the hips. Breathing deeply. Connect deeply with those 4 points of contact again. Spreading the fingers. Stretching the heels back. And then roll the gaze forwards as you walk forwards. Coming to that forward fold. Bend your knees as you sweep your arms all the way out and up, rising up slowly to stand. Lovely. And then bring the hands down to the heart. Lovely. So we're going to start adding the breath as we do the left leg. So let's find that chair pose. So arms might be level with the chest, they might be alongside the ears or hands to heart. Lovely. Take a nice inhale. This time as you exhale, left arm slices across, looking under right armpit. Inhale, coming back into that chair pose. Exhale, right arm slices across, peeping under left armpit. Inhale back through center. And as you exhale, hinge forwards into that forward fold, crown of head to earth. Halfway lift as you inhale, slide the hands up the legs as you gaze forwards. And as you exhale, hands down, left leg steps back, knee to floor, toes stay tucked. Palms together as you arrow the arms up into that lunge as you inhale. And as you exhale, lower the arms and pick up the back knee. Keeping the weight over your wrists as you inhale into plank. And as you exhale and lower yourself down, feel free to bring the knees down first. Flatten the feet, lift the chest into that cobra, feel grounded through the hips. And as you exhale, very tenderly, chest lowers. Tuck the toes as you push onto all fours as you inhale. And exhale into that downward dog, hips come nice and high. Let's take a round of breath there, feeling connected again through the hands, through the feet. Big, deep inhale. Heels sinking back and down as you exhale. Looking forwards as you inhale, walk your feet to the top of the mat. Lovely. And as you exhale into that forward fold, again, you can generously bend the knees. Bending the knees as you rise up to stand, sweep the arms all the way out and up, gather them up. Exhale as you bring the hands to the heart. Lovely. One more round. So lunar salutes, nothing hurried about them. So let's find that chair pose. You might be coming a little deeper. Have a peek at the knees. Make sure you're not doing a baby giraffe at the watering hole with your knees knocking in, chest nice and open. Let's take an inhale. As you exhale, right arm slices across to outer knee. Inhale back through center. Left arm, stay low in the hips, slices across. Inhale back into that chair pose. Exhale, down into that forward fold. Maybe fingertips stay on the floor this time as you lift up halfway. And as you exhale, plant the hands, right leg strides back, knee to floor. Into that lunge, arrow the arms up, maybe into a little back bend this time. And as you exhale, plant the hands and pick up back knee. Shoulders stay above wrists as you inhale into plank. And with control, that might mean bringing your knees down first. Lower yourself down into the floor. Flatten your feet, lift up into that cobra, elbows stay tucked in. Exhale as you lower, beautiful. Inhale back onto fours. And as you exhale, lift the hips, nice and high. Big deep inhale there. Full exhale as you sink the heels down. Looking forwards as you walk forwards on an inhale. Exhaling as you melt down into that forward fold. Soften the knees as you rise all the way up. Gather the arms up and exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. So we're going to do the last one with the left leg leading. So finding that chair pose. So imagine the weight dropping back in the heels. You should be able to lift your toes. You want the toes planted, but just get that sensation of most of the weight in the heels. Lovely. Let's take an inhale. Last time as we exhale, left arm this time, slicing across. Knees stay tracking forwards. Inhale back to center. It's that chair pose. Right arm comes across the body. Inhale. Exhaling, hinging forwards, down into that forward fold. Coming up halfway, so again, fingertips might be on the floor. As you exhale, this time, left leg strides back, knee to floor, toes stay tucked. Arrow the arms up, coming into that little lunge again. It might be a little back bend. Exhale, plant the hands, pick up back knee. Again, keep the weight forwards as you shoot that leg back into plank. Whoosh. Exhale, come down. Knees might help your descent to the floor. Inhale as you lift up into that little cobra. As far as feels comfortable, exhale or lower. Inhale back onto fours. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Big, deep breath here. Nice, full inhale. And feel really grounded through hands and feet as you exhale. Last time as you inhale, we'll look forwards and walk forwards to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Exhale, crown of the head to the earth. Fold yourself down over the legs. Last time, slowly rise up. Take your time. And exhale. Once more, one hand resting on top of the other. Center of your chest, your yogic heart. Close the eyes. And even when they're slow, the breath might be a little elevated. So just take your time to bring that breath back under conscious control. Once more, finding that awareness of your feet, grounding through your feet. Lovely. And then when you're ready, let's take the arms all the way up one last time. And this time, draw the hands together all the way down the midline of the body as you hinge forwards. Last time into that forward fold. Last time into that halfway lift as you inhale. And exhale, step back into downward dog. 1, 2 with the legs. Widen the feet. Drop down onto hands and knees, keeping the knees wide. We'll point the big toes towards one another as we take a wide kneed child pose there. Easing your hips back, and you can always rest one hand on top of the other or make a little platform for your head there. Or the arms extended, choice is yours. Try and rest your forehead on something. Area around the front of our brain said to help us connect with our rest and digest, part of our nervous system. Many of us find it harder to connect with that in the busy pace that life tends to move these days. Lovely. So we can stay there, just resting your head on your hands, or if your arms are extended, you want one final twist, feed your right arm underneath your left arm, just turning your gaze underneath that left armpit. Lovely. Maybe just lifting that top armpit a little bit, just leaning into that right shoulder. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly feed both arms out in front of you and then change sides. If this isn't for you, you can keep your hands resting, head resting on your hands there. Again, you're just trying to roll that top armpit open, shifting the weight into that left shoulder. Lovely. And then again, reach both arms out. And then we'll walk the hands back towards your knees. You're lifting up through the chest. Draw both knees forwards. Pop your hips to one side. And just stretch the legs out in front of you. Once more, just come into the middle of your mat. Ease your way down onto your backs. And bring your knees to your chest there. So again, you might want a little rock or massage out through the back there. Lovely. So any back issues today, you can bring your feet down to the floor and even take your feet wider apart. The choice is yours. If your back feels okay, keep the knees to your chest, but bring the arms out level with the shoulders. And what you might notice is as you let go of your knees, they fall away from you a little bit and they really overarch through your low back. So see if you can just flatten out through your lower back to engage your core a little bit there. Stretch out through the arms, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's tip the knees to the right, about halfway, maybe turning your head to the left. Inhale, draw the knees and the head to center. Exhale, a little tip to the left with the knees. So we're not aiming to touch the floor. Inhale through center. Lovely. So as you just continue to tip halfway down with each exhale, keep your heels quite low down towards your bottom. Or if you want a little bit more, as you bring your knees back to center, you lift your heels away from your bottom. So you've got a 90-degree angle at the back of the knee. And you keep the legs in that position as you continue to tip down from side to side. So knees above hips, shins parallel to the floor, ankles roughly level with the backs of the knees. So you have to work a little bit harder there. Lovely. And the next time that you tip the knees down to the right, see if you can bring the knees all the way down towards the floor. For some of you, that might mean sliding the feet away from you. It might mean separating your knees and your ankles. Those of you that want a little bit more, you can scoop your knees up towards your chest. You might pick up your head and turn your gaze just over that left arm. Find a little bit more space there. Lovely. Just easing your way into that twist. Those of you with the back feels okay and you want a little bit more, that top leg, so that left leg you can straighten out. And you might even be able to take hold of your left foot with your right hand. So if you're extending that leg, make sure you've not collapsed in the top waist. So see if you can imagine stretching that top hip, pressing it away from you. So again, you feel your underneath waist lift and your top waist lengthen. That's not for you, knees stay bent. Lovely. Ooh. If, like me, you've got that top leg extended, we'll just take one more breath before you very gently let go of the foot, bending both knees, so knees and ankles stay stacked, or come all the way back through center. You might need to level off through your hips, just bring yourself back into the middle of your mat before you come over to the other side. So remember, if you want less, you take your knees further away from your chest, slide your feet away from you. If you want more, we bring the knees up towards your chest a little bit more, and that brings that twist higher up the spine. Try and keep your chest more or less square to the ceiling. And just settle in there knowing that you can stay here, or again, if you want more, that top leg, so this time it's the right leg extends and straightens. You might be able to hold the foot with your left hand. And again, if you've kind of collapsed in order to get hold of your foot, press that top hip away from you. Feel your underneath waist lift and that top waist lengthen. So it's never worth putting your back on this one. If you can't reach your foot, if it's uncomfortable with the legs straight, keep the knees bent. It really doesn't matter. Easy breaths. And then again, if you're holding that top foot, letting go of it very, very gently so you can bring both knees and ankles together. Come all the way back through center. We'll land the feet, extend one leg, extend the other, and bring both arms back behind you. So you're in a delicious full body stretch. You might just want to stay there, reaching back through the fingers, pointing the toes. You might want to stretch alternate sides, so reaching back through the right arm, stretching the left foot, and then changing sides. You might feel there's a little bit of kind of movement across your lower back as one hip stretches away and the other slides up towards your armpit there. Lovely. And then wherever you are, just coming back to that full body stretch, create as much space in the body as you can before you very, very gently bring the arms all the way back down alongside you, like a big snow angel, palms up towards the ceiling. A little bit of space between your arm and side of the body. Separating your feet so they're hip width apart, you can just roll your feet in and out a couple of times before you allow your toes to roll out to the side and your heels to rest in. And if you've got the kind of back that really doesn't appreciate being laid out stretched, rebend the knees, bring your feet towards you, maybe take them a little wider apart so you can then bring your inner knees to knock together and support one another. Get yourself comfortable there, closing your eyes. And again, just bring your awareness once more to that back seam of the body. Starting at the head, the very middle, the back of your head, resting on the floor. Chin drawn down ever so gently towards the chest, so the back of the neck feels open and spacious. Evenness of weight across your upper back, left and the right shoulder blade, settling evenly into the floor beneath you. Not trying to flatten out that natural curvature of your spine, which will be very different to anyone else. Some of us flatter, some of us have a more deep lordotic spine, deeply arched back. So that next point of contact, probably around the lower back, tops of your buttocks, and again, find an evenness of weight there. If your legs are extended, Maybe feel the back of your legs, back of your thighs, the calves, and the heels. So again, find that balance between the left and the right leg, or the left and the right foot if your feet are on the floor. So even in repose, the body feels beautifully balanced. And with the body at ease, we can bring our awareness back to the breath. As you breathe in, you sense that buoyancy, that lightness that the inhalation brings. And that exhale, you feel that deepening connection with the floor beneath you, that softening, that sense of release, and relinquishing the need to hold on to tension. Receiving that inhale, that buoyancy, that lightness as the chest and the belly rises. And then releasing that exhale. And seeing again if you can just sink your awareness into all of those points of contact with the earth beneath you. You might even think about the body like a wave, or the breath like a wave. As you inhale, the breath travels all the way up from the tips of your toes, all the way up through the front of the body, opening some space all the way up to the very crown of your head. And as you exhale, the breath travels down the back of the body. Inhaling all the way up the front, opening, expanding the tips of your toes all the way up to the crown of your head. And then the breath travels down and out through the back of the body, from the crown of the head, down the spine, all the way down to the heels. The breath like a circuit there. In Qigong, it's called orbital breath. Just imagine the breath almost like a closed circuit there. Energy travelling up through the front of the body and then dropping down through the back of the body. So whether you're just focusing on that breath or whether you've got that visual imagery of a wave, that orbital breath, travelling up and down, front and the back seam of the body, just take a couple more rounds there. Enjoying that sense of connection with your breath. And over the next few breaths, really get a sense, a feeling of that inhale beginning to invigorate and re-energize you, ready for the week ahead. Not losing that sense of release on the exhale, but really using that inhale now to recharge you, ready for whatever the week ahead may bring. And very gently just start to wiggle your fingers, maybe your toes. Try to keep that connection with your breath as you begin to gently move the body very gently and softly, fingers, toes, maybe the head starting to roll from side to side very slowly. And then feel free to find that full body stretch. Straightening the legs, reaching the arms back. And I think I read you last week a couple of lines from a lovely poem that someone had sent me that started with the lines, "Quiet friend who has come so far, feel how your breathing makes more space around you." So as you just find that lovely final full body stretch, you can feel how your breath makes more space around you there. And then when you're ready, we'll all meet with the knees just drawn in towards your chest. Take your time to get there. You might just want to linger there, or you might just want to roll gently side to side, or a little circle around with the knees each way a few times. And whether there's space behind you, to the right of you or to the left of you, it really doesn't matter. Just roll onto that side, left or right. And then slowly join me in your own time in a comfortable seated position. Never has to be cross-legged. And if you're sitting cross-legged, maybe just bring your palms down onto your knees or your thighs there. Again, it helps us stay grounded. Palms up. A gesture of receiving energy. Palms down. A gesture of releasing and grounding. So lifting up nice and tall through the breastbone. Soften the shoulders. Maybe just close the eyes for a moment. And I'm with Truman Capote here. I'll leave you with a quote from him. He wrote Breakfast at Tiffany's. And he, like me, was a lover of this time of year. And he wrote, Aprils have never meant that much to me. Autumn seems that season of beginning. So as you bring your hands to your heart, dropping chin down towards your chest, I hope the beginning of this new week, a week back to school for many of you and back to work, I hope it goes okay. And namaste. Thank you for your practice. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. You have to stay around.